Welcome. Today we will be exploring the writing platform called BoomWriter. As teachers, we know the importance of having students keep journals in the classroom. It creates reflective thinkers. It allows you to build relationships with your students as they provide a safe place for students to write. And practice makes perfect. The more students are writing, the more their writing skills improve. However, in my own ELA classroom, I had the hardest time keeping track of my students' journaling. I knew how important it was, but I could just not get it to function right in my classroom. And the reason for that was I had no room for composition notebooks to be stored in the physical classroom. My students took way too long to get their notebooks out. And I had them try Google Docs, but it was all unorganized and I couldn't find each student's work. However, a solution to this problem is BoomWriter. BoomWriter is an online platform that allows you to have all of your students' work in one place. It is all organized and it is easy to assign journal prompts and different assignments. In this video, we will address the following: an overview of BoomWriter, creating an account, creating a class, types of assignments/tools, creating a journal assignment, student view, and end with a summary of BoomWriter. By the end of the video, viewers will be able to create personalized classes and journal assignments in BoomWriter and apply a convenient alternative to composition notebooks in the elementary and secondary classroom. Alright, so BoomWriter is an online writing platform primarily used by students in grades 2 through 8. The program offers 3 different writing tools: assignments, stories, and journals. Journals is the one we will spend the most time talking about today. And one reason BoomWriter is especially useful in the primary and early secondary classrooms is that each student is able to create a BoomWriter avatar, and as the more assignments they complete, the more they can personalize this avatar. We will talk about this more at the end of the session. Alright, now that we have an understanding of what exactly BoomWriter is, we are going to walk through the steps of creating an account with BoomWriter. So the first thing you're going to do is go to boomwriter.com, and then on that homepage you will see where it says sign up for free teacher. You are going to hit teacher. And once you have hit teacher, it will take you to the create your teacher account webpage, okay? And so this is where you will enter the email and username that you would like to use. Once you have done that, you will move on to giving BoomWriter little information about yourself, such as your name, what your students call you, and your role in education. Once you have done that, you will receive an email from BoomWriter, and it is important for you to verify your email address. And one thing I will say is to double check your spam folder, as my verification emails have always gone to spam. Once you do that, you are all set to begin creating your first class in BoomWriter. Alright, so once we've created our account, we are ready to create a class. And the nice thing about BoomWriter is that it can be used in the elementary setting where you only have one class, or in the secondary setting where you have multiple classes for different periods or blocks. So once you create your account, you will see this page, and it says, let's get started by creating your class. You'll be able to enter your class name, your school name, and your zip code. So I'm going to name my class First Period. I'm going to leave my school blank, and then your zip code is automatically there, and then you will hit create. Alright, so you have now created your class. And before we start adding any assignments, we need to add students to this class. So you are going to hit the classes little cap up in the top left corner, and this is where you're able to see all of your classes. We have only created one. So in order to add students, we are going to hit the Students tab. And there are multiple ways to add students to a class in BoomWriter. You can add existing students. So meaning, let's say you have students in a science class and you want to add them to an ELA journal. You can do that. You can create individual accounts. So you can add each student name by name, select their grade, and invite parents. Or, in my opinion, the simplest one is to use the Google sign-in. So this allows students to sign in using their Google account. This means they don't need any usernames or passwords to remember. It is all through their Google account. So in order to do this, there are 3 steps. Step 1 is to share the URL with your students. And once they have this URL, they will click Login, Student, and then sign in with their Google account. The next step, they just need your class ID, and this class ID is all over BoomWriter. And then the last step is that you as the teacher have to approve your students to join your class, so you can't have any random students in your class. So those are the 3 steps to sign in with Google Single Sign-In, and I think that is the most efficient way to do it. One other really awesome thing about BoomWriter is that you can add other teachers to your class as well. So let's say you are a ELA teacher and you have a special education teacher who comes in for a period, or an ELL teacher who comes in. You can add teachers to this class and they are able to view all of your students' assignments as well as collaborate with you as a teacher to create those assignments. So this is a super user-friendly system to add students as well as add other teachers to your class. I mentioned earlier that BoomWriter offers 3 different types of assignments. We have stories, assignments, and student journals. The stories is the most unique of all 3 assignments that BoomWriter offers, as it allows your students to work collaboratively to write a story. BoomWriter is the only system that I know that truly allows your students to do this, and they have a few steps of how it works. Students will read a first chapter of a story together, which is called a story start. And after they read this, they will each individually write a chapter 2 for the story. And then the teacher will provide feedback and the students can revise their work. And then step 4, the students will anonymously vote for which chapter they think should be the winning chapter number 2. You can then repeat this process as many times as you like. And one really cool last step is that BoomWriter allows the parents to publish this work. So if a parent wants to buy this story that their student wrote, they can publish it, receive a hard copy book with their student's name on it and their chapters in it. You can also do individual stories on BoomWriter with the same process, just without the voting aspect of it. So then the next tool or writing style is the assignments. And this is the simplest of the 3. This is simply a place where you can assign a writing assignment for your students to work on, where they can write, edit, revise, and complete a peer review. Students can also do a group writing assignment, so you would allow students to work together to show their understanding of key concepts and terms. This can be used for any subject, so a science lab or a history paper. It is perfect for every subject. And then the one that we are focused the most on today is the journaling aspect of BoomWriter. The student journal allows a teacher to create a journal with multiple sections or entries. You can use the journal how often as you would like. It can be once a day to 3 times a year. And BoomWriter allows the teacher to set up the prompt, to set up the journal entries in an organized manner, while also requiring students to use certain vocabulary words, have a certain word length, and specify a due date for these students. This student journal allows the teacher to have so much control over the organization process of the student journals, which can be lost when you use composition notebooks. All right, now that we know what the 3 tools BoomWriter offers are, we're going to start and create our first journal entry. So we're going to go to assignments, and then once you're in assignments, you're going to hit new assignment. From there, you're going to see our 3 tools again, and you're going to hit create journal. BoomWriter gives you 4 different journal ideas, and those are set goals, reflect, question, and describe. These are just journal prompts that you can use in case you need some ideas. We're going to hit start my journals. And from here, you'll see the overview of what the journal will look like to you on the planning end of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit edit title. And this journal will last my students the entire school year. So I'm going to label it ELA 2020 to 2021. And then you'll see these sections. And these sections are different journal entries. So each section is a different prompt. You can add as many sections now as you would like, or you can come back and add sections. So if today I wanted to add section 1, tomorrow I wanted to add section 2, that is fine. What I will say though is once you add a section, the students can see that section in their journal. So section title, I personally like my section titles to look like how they would in a composition notebook. So I like to do the date, June 29th. And then under writing instructions / guidelines, this is where you give your students the prompt and the directions they have to write. So for me, as an 8th grade ELA teacher, one staple novel every single year is The Outsiders. So I want my students to answer a prompt on The Outsiders. So in this box, I would type in that prompt along with any other directions that I might have. So, describe Ponyboy Curtis and Johnny Cade from The Outsiders. Each description should be at least a paragraph long. Provide evidence from the text to support your answer. That is the prompt that my students will see. And one really cool thing I mentioned about BoomWriter earlier is that you can enter specific vocabulary words that students have to use. So if this is being used as a science notebook, you can add specific science terms that they have to use. For me, I want my students to use 4 specific adjectives that they might not use in their daily writing. So in this vocabulary box, I would type in those vocabulary words. They are sensitive, intuitive, sensible, and observant. My students cannot turn in their writing until those 4 vocabulary words are used. It does not tell us if they use the vocabulary words right, but if they use it. So I assigned this on June 29th, and I want my students to have all week to do it. It is their homework assignment, so I can add a deadline for when this has to be due. However, one really cool thing is that you can change that. If you decide, nope, you guys actually only get 1 day to do it, you can change it. You can decide, oh, this was hard, you need 2 weeks to do it, you can add extra time. You can also change the maximum number of words that the students can use. You can say 500, you can say as many as can be, okay? And one other thing is the advanced settings, and this is ELA, so I would select ELA. And then one other cool feature that BoomWriter offers is you can allow students to anonymously vote on journal entries for which one is the best. This allows for a great peer assessment. However, I personally believe that journals are a safe place for students to write, and in this case, I would not turn on voting. However, one section you can turn on voting and the next you don't have to turn it on. Then the last advanced setting is upload supporting materials from Google Drive. So if you have a journal prompt with a rubric already created or a writing assignment that you want in their journal, a reading response, you can upload a Google Doc of that assignment and students can view it there. Once that is all done, you're going to hit start in the bottom right corner, and this will then publish the assignment to your student's journal. All right, so now that we have created our journal and our first journal section or prompt, I want to take you guys through the student view of BoomWriter. So when a student logs in, they will see all of their classes here. So if you are an elementary school teacher and you want them to have a journal for ELA, science, history, and math, they will see all of those journals here. So I want my student, Jane, to go to her first period ELA journal. And so here's the journal that is current. If you have past journals, so let's say I wanted to do a journal just for The Outsiders, that could, once we finish that, that would go into completed. But she sees here that there is a journal entry or section for June 29th. She's going to click on it. And from here, she can see that she has 3 days left to work on this. We're going to hit write. And from here, it has all of the instructions. Writing deadline, 3rd of July, 2020. Instructions, describe Ponyboy Curtis and Johnny Cade from The Outsiders. And the word bank, sensitive, intuitive, sensible, and observant. So we're going to hit start writing. So as we hit start writing, we still have all of the instructions in the word bank on the right-hand side. So we have 500 word count to use, and we're going to have Jane write her story. Jane has written her entry on Ponyboy Curtis and Johnny Cade, and we can see that in the right-hand box that all 4 of our vocabulary words are highlighted yellow. When Jane uses a word, it gets highlighted and it says 4 out of 4 vocabulary words are used, or however many have been used. However, when she does not use a word, that word is not highlighted and it tells you how many she has and has not used. So once that is done, Jane can hit submit and earn 10 coins. So like I mentioned earlier, every writer has an avatar, and when they submit an assignment, they get coins. So we're going to submit and earn 10 coins. Are you sure? Yes. As well as earning coins, you also earn badges. So Jane just earned the beginner writing badge. So now that we have written our first story, our first journal entry, it is submitted, we are done. We're going to check out more in the student view. So Jane can hit her profile and see her name, her username, her grade, and her access code. These all can only be changed by the teacher in the class tab under the teacher account if anything needs to be changed. Students can also change their password if they did not go in through Google, see all of their classes, enter a class ID to join other classes, as well as update their boomer or avatar. So Jane has 30 coins right now to spend. So Jane can spend time changing her avatar, adding hair to it, adding clothes to it. So this top is 10 coins. You can choose colors to it. And all of these, you can add stuffed animals, go under your stuff. It is just a great way for your students to feel some sort of excitement in their writing. It gamifies the classroom, which we know students respond very, very well to. So this is the student view. This is where they can view all of their assignments, all of their work that they have to be doing. So to summarize everything that we have talked about today, BoomWriter is this amazing online writing platform for students in grades 2 through 8. You can use it with the high school age kids, but the avatars kind of become a little more childish to them. So in BoomWriter, there are 3 tools: assignments, which is individual writing or group writing assignments; stories, which are interactive and group individual writing assignments that can be published and parents can buy; journals, which is what we talked about primarily, and that is an online journal system, an alternative to composition notebooks in the classroom. One thing to note about BoomWriter is that everything we talked about today can be accessed in the free BoomWriter account, okay? You can have an unlimited number of classes, unlimited number of students, and an unlimited number of BoomWriter activities. However, BoomWriter does offer 2 more packages. There's the basic $5 a month, and that is everything that plus a grading system, which you may have seen on the last page, which is a rubric that is incorporated into BoomWriter. As well as you can print PDF versions of your students' work to share digitally or put on the walls. And one thing I really wish that they had in the free program was that you can duplicate existing assignments to use in your other classes with the basic $5 a month one, so that my first period, they can do the same assignment as my second period without me having to go in and do it twice in the classes. Not a huge deal, but it would be nice. As well as parents can receive a 10% discount on purchases of the student stores and journals. You do get a 7-day free trial of this when you sign up. So if you want to try that out and that might work best for you, you do get a 7-day free trial. Then there is the complete version, and this is $10 a month, which you get everything I just said, plus in-app chatting to allow you to communicate with your students in real time. So if you're doing school remotely or distance learning, this might be something that's worth it. You are able to chat with your students through the platform as they are working. Multiple teachers and students can provide teacher-guided feedback to other classmates' work. So you can have comments that your students can then use to provide specific good feedback to their other classmates, and that is coming soon to BoomWriter. So this is BoomWriter. It is this amazing online platform for students to work on their writing. It is all done in one location on one website. BoomWriter offers so much support. They have FAQs and they have some in-depth tutorials if one part of this video went too fast for you. I wanted to share with you guys a few ways that you can incorporate BoomWriter today into your classroom. So BoomWriter can be used as a reading response journal, science notebooks, writer's notebooks, a reflection journal. I would love to have a journal where my students are only reflecting on their writing in that journal. Morning work, social studies bell ringers. This is a great idea for bell ringers. Those are all just a few ideas that you can use to incorporate BoomWriter today in your classroom. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn new innovative practices that you can incorporate into your classroom. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on my professional Twitter at Meadows in Middle,